Welcome everyone, Costini here with a discussion about Blizzard Entertainment and the lawsuit that they are facing from the state of California because there has been some updates, some developments that aren't looking too great for Blizzard Entertainment considering some of the things that they've been doing. Let me be very clear, this lawsuit is extremely damaging to Activision, to Blizzard, to Activision Blizzard, because it has put their business relations into questions. They've had sponsors dropping them, at least Overwatch sponsors dropping them. There's been a great deal of negativity from the Blizzard community. There are even some reports, some leaks that I may talk about in a future video, but some leaks, fake leaks most likely, but still leaks, or some rumors suggesting that Activision may be considering shutting down Blizzard in its entirety and replacing it with Insight or something along those lines. And it wouldn't necessarily be the most surprising development in the world if they were to do so, considering all the negative press that Blizzard has been receiving for a while. Like, I've made this point over and over and again about the lawsuit. The lawsuit is just a cherry on the cake. The cake itself has been pretty horrible for a while, and more and more people are realizing how bad things have been. And now Blizzard is also facing genuine competition from, say, Final Fantasy, maybe New World, later on Ashes of Creation. Things aren't looking great in many ways. And now we have this update on the lawsuit from Axios. California expands lawsuit against Activision Blizzard. This was written a couple of days ago, actually, and it says California has expanded its anti-discriminatory lawsuit against Activision Blizzard, adding temporary workers to the female full-time employees of whom it is suing on behalf. The State Department of Fair Employment and Housing also alleges the game maker has interfered with its investigation. Why it matters? Well, it matters because they've been trying to show that they are addressing issues raised in the suit, and California is turning up the heat. The amended complaint was filed Monday and redefines the group it says was wronged by the gaming giant. A copy reviewed by Access specifically mentions that California's protections against anti-harassment, equal pay, and other equal employment opportunity protections exist for employees and contingent or temporary workers. Throughout the lawsuit, the word employees has been changed to workers in reference to harassment, sex discrimination regarding pay, and other allegations. California also says that Activision Blizzard has timing its efforts through NDAs requiring employees to speak with the company ahead of contacting the state, and its involvement with Wilmer Hale, a law firm that the game makers said will investigate misconduct issues. The suit claims that this directly interferes with California's ability to investigate, prosecute, and remedy workplace discrimination and harassment violations on behalf of employees and contingent or temporary workers. It alleges in part that documents related to investigations and complaints were shredded by human resource personnel in violation of what it asserts is the game's company legal obligation to retain them pending the investigation. So, some claims, and Blizzard saying some claims are not true, and we've provided California with clear evidence that we do not have gender pay or promotion disparities. And of course, this is something Blizzard would say. You can read the rest of the article on the link in the description. Axios does get a good inside scoop. Now, this is very bad because the term obstruction of justice, or it comes into play here. Is Blizzard obstructing justice by shredding documents, by having HR shredding documents? Maybe. I wouldn't necessarily take what California is saying at face value here, by the way. I mean, obviously California wants to present the situation in the worst possible light to have a stronger case. That's what they're trying to do. That's their job. How much you want to trust that depends on you. I won't jump on the bandwagon and say, just because California says something, it's true. No, it's not true just because a fucking state agency of the state of California says it, that makes it true. We're not in an era, especially in the modern era, where blindly believing government is good enough. In fact, much of our culture, the way we were raised, is about not believing authority. But here's the thing. Here's the reason why these kind of things have weight, because it isn't just based on what a state agency is saying. It's not just based on what the prosecutors are saying. The mainstream media has gone on and done investigations on this. What's their reasoning as for doing so? Well, they might have reasoning, some of their own reasons, but they've gone, asked employees. There's stories coming out, more and more stories coming out about how horrible things have been, especially in certain departments like QA, quality assurance. Things apparently weren't that great in other areas of the company. In some place, you don't hear necessarily the complaints from certain areas of Blizzard, but there have certainly been spots in the company where things have been pretty terrible. And if Blizzard is obstructing justice, if Blizzard is shredding documents and trying to hide what's been going on and using NDAs to prevent employees from speaking with the state of California, then that is a pretty bad look for Blizzard, isn't it? By any definition. And look, and at the end of the day, this is as much of a PR battle as it is a legal battle, right? Blizzard is in a bad state from a PR perspective, a really bad state. And their denials is like, oh, we didn't shred documents. Their denials on that are not really going to help it, especially if it comes out later down the line from other sources, not just what California is alleging, if it comes out from other sources that confirm that they were actually doing so. That would be a pretty bad situation. I don't understand Blizzard's game strategy. Do they think that they can lie and manipulate the situation to their advantage and deny the things that are happening? Because here's the thing, they have plenty of employees within the company that are pretty damn pissed. At the company they've been working for. And they have a reason. And you can expect that more and more leaks will likely come out. I mean, there's a reason Axios got this kind of information for starters. Maybe they got it from the state of California. Maybe it was indicated to them by some other people. Either way, this is a pretty big story. And could it lead to potentially the end of Blizzard? Because, rumors, leaks, going around, playing around, suggesting that could very well happen. An MMO champion post was made on this. Now, a lot of people have called it fake, but the biggest premise of that, could Activision shut down Blizzard? Maybe they would. Maybe things would go down in that direction. Some other things like, shutting down World of Warcraft and all that. That is unlikely to happen from my perspective, or not releasing a future WoW expansion, which some rumors have just suggested. I don't think that's likely to happen, and I'll tell you why. And I'll dive into this more. But the simple fact is that Shadowlands, for all of the issues that it has, was still the second best selling PC game of all time. You know what took the top spot? Cyberpunk. Now it's kind of funny that you have Cyberpunk and you have Shadowlands, both of which turned out to be piles of crap in many ways and with many issues. But a lot of people were hyped, a lot of people were interested, a lot of people were excited. And, well, I guess a lot of people paid the price for that excitement. I wasn't necessarily too keen on Cyberpunk. I was, let's just say, skeptical about it. I was admittedly surprised by how poorly it turned out to be. But either way, things are not good, and maybe Activision would do something as radical. I also wouldn't put it past them to try and do something as stupid as trying to prevent their own employees from talking with the state of California or the California agency in charge of combating discrimination. So either way, things are not looking good for them. Things are going in a pretty bad direction, and if we keep getting more and more of these stories, the deeper that hole that they've been digging for themselves is going to be. That's the thing. This is all on Blizzard. No one else. You can't even say, Activision is really responsible. No, many of these decisions have been made by people within Blizzard. Honestly, that's the worst thing. Like, I think we've been in a situation for a long time where a lot of players have tended to blame the publishers, like, the big bad publisher, literally called the Eye of Sauron by people of Blizzard. It's like, it's the Eye of Sauron. We don't want to tell people on Activision about what's happening within Blizzard because we don't want to draw their eye on us. Maybe if Activision had known in advance, things wouldn't have gotten so bad. Like, this is a thing. This is, by the way, another story that should be talked about. Blizzard had a lot of freedom, an enormous amount of freedom from any decision Activision did. And ever since they've actually joined with Activision, sure, they've had they've faced some pressure on that, but they've made a lot of poor decisions ever since they became prima donnas, effectively, or divas. That's, I think, the real issue wearing them now. Like, and they're not the only ones. Like, I can think of Westwood. They did something similar, or other gaming companies that released some great games at a certain point, and then they became divas, and they let their success get to their head, and things ended up going very poorly for them. How will this end? Well, certainly not anytime soon. The Riot lawsuit is still going on after so much time. Don't expect this to end anytime soon. If they don't settle, especially if they're not settling, this will take a long time to actually resolve itself. Costin here, signing out. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and enable notifications, and stay tuned for more.